Cheech here at Fly Fish Food. We have skill builder number 30. That means there are 29 others for you to watch. We're going to talk about thread control when you're spinning your thread. We're going to show you how to do the touch dub method properly. And we're going to show you my favorite way to tie rubber legs into a foam fly.
Yeah, that's a big brown roll.
We're going to talk about thread twisty situations. Okay, let's say I've got a little fly here, and I've tied this with really big 2-tendon ear for demo purposes. But as you know, I like to unwind my thread quite a bit. The problem is sometimes your thread can get bouncing around back here at your tie-off point. And if you have something tied in that's delicate back here that's going to bounce around, you don't necessarily want to just spin your thread and let it just free spin. So what I like to do, when I have a whole bunch of stuff on a fly, I just put my finger on top of the thread, then I untwist it, and nothing's going to happen outside of that last wrap. It's not going to get too loose, and then I can just untwist, no issue. I'm good, and then I wrap forward. So that is, it seems simple, but it's a really, really good hack. Stick your finger on your thread when you twist, either clockwise or counterclockwise, and it will prevent your materials from jostling around because the tension might get compromised. All right, we're going to talk about touch dub technique. All right, so a lot of you have heard about this. It's a really cool way to just add a little tiny bit of dubbing onto your thread and maintain the bugginess of the thread, or of the dubbing. Okay, so the first thing, you got to pick a dubbing that's conducive to this. I really like natural dubbings like hare's ear or things like that. Here I've got some bug dub, which is just a hare's ear mixed with flash. Okay, let's see, I'll just choose this brown color because it shows up decently. So the first thing I do if I want to do the touch dub, you know, everyone knows it uses wax on the thread, but that's really not the most important part. The most important part is prepping your dubbing and getting your dubbing ready to be touch dub friendly. So if you can see, these fibers are pretty short, but in the touch dub world, that's way too long. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to preen the dubbing a little bit, come in here with some scissors, and I'm just going to trim it about like 3 or 4 mil long. Grab it again and then re-blend that. So if you have a big bunch of dubbing and you have a coffee grinder, this is a really good way to do it. But the key to the touch dub technique is that your dubbing is already really short, like this. Okay, so we have a loose little clump. We'll put him right there. Hope it doesn't blow away. And now I'm going to prep my thread. So this is Loon High-Tack Swax, and if you just push that or squeeze it, it kind of sticks out and it will suck back in. You do not want to get this on your wife's fancy couch or coffee table. Brig uses it to wax the peach fuzz in between his eyebrows, so multi-purpose. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to get a kind of a healthy amount of it on there. Not too much. You can put it on and take it off with like the edge of the bottle, but just distribute it around wherever you want your dubbing noodle to be. Okay, so there you go. I don't know if you can see that on there, but there's a little bit of dubbing wax. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this dubbing clump and I'm just going to touch it onto the wax. Okay, pull off any extra. Boom, boom, boom. We're just going to kind of go up and down until the wax has grabbed on to the maximum amount of dubbing that it wants to play with today. Okay? So, and don't get that on your fingers because you won't be able to put stuff down. The next step I like to do is twist it up. So, counterclockwise, clockwise, whatever way you like. I like to hang it on my finger like this and then give it a little pull. We'll do that a few times. Just like that. So now, if we wrap this, there will be some dubbing that falls out. Just catch it, put it back in your pile, and we can just wrap that forward. And the cool thing about this is this has a very, very slender body now. If I come in here and pick this out, all those fibers are dubbed really, really tightly to the body. The way that we wrap the thread on top of itself traps the dubbing down. But there you see we have a really minimal body with a lot of picky, buggy dubbing. That is the touch dub technique. All right, here we have a chubby Chernobyl, a very chubby one at that. This one's been eating dinner at the Brigham Wilson family household, and it is getting thick. It's potato season or something. All right, check this out. We're going to show you how to tie rubber legs on this guy a bunch of different ways. I'm going to start out by using my favorite method. I'll just take a single strand, and this can be used to tie on rubber legs for pretty much anything. But I'm going to take a strand of rubber leg. This is just from these. I've pulled one off the side. And I'm just going to take roughly about how long I want the leg to be, lay it on the side furthest me, and tie it down just with a few turns, okay? If you put a bunch of turns on this, just know that however many turns you put on now, that's how many more turns this leg will have than that leg, okay? So you only need about 2, 3 max, and we can adjust these after the fact. Then you just take this one, loop it around, and just catch it in there on the other side, okay? So now from here you can adjust them up and down, tie those in, and when you're done, just trim it like that, okay? Now there's another really good method that I use quite a bit, but not as much as the other one, is I'm going to pre-cut the legs to roughly where I want them to be, about like that, okay? And let's say that I don't want to rotate my vise and I want I want these just to be tied in one swoop. So I'm going to take both of those, tie them in roughly where I want. Then I'm going to take this top one and just yeet him over to the other side. See that? Again, same thing. We're tied in both sides and we are good to go. The other way you can do it, if you were a noob, tie one here, tie one there. But that's such a bad method, I'm not even going to show it. I refuse. These 2 ways are the best ways to tie rubber legs in on a fly.